connecting. Yay! I'm so excited. We did it.
So you have to do it on your phone. Yeah, you have to do it on your phone, apparently. Because so that didn't work with I'll just put all of those things to the side. I'm so excited to be here. We made it.
Yay, we did it. I'm so excited. I feel like, we're so technology savvy now. Me and my old age trying to figure all this out.
Oh my gosh, you're funny. I cannot see the comments, so if someone comments, you'll have to let me know.
Okay, I have it on my computer because I can't see too many on my phone, but everybody's going, yay, Tiffany's here. People are coming in just to see you, my sweet friend. Okay, I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Can I turn it up without screwing anything up? Yes, okay. All right. So, Tiffany, welcome. Thanks for doing this. This is really exciting. My first guest on Facebook Live. So we're getting yay. Hi, Lisa. Let's see. Taylor, thank you. I'm so excited that I did it. All right. Let me just move this back. It's like really close to my face. All right. Okay, so if you guys want to ask Tiffany questions, just put them in the comments, but I'm going to go ahead and start. And first of all, Tiffany, I am so excited that when I decided to do the guest teacher thing on my website and my classroom, I thought of you immediately because I love you. I love how you approach art. I love that you just go in, you just do it. And I want to tell you about the very first time I discovered you. And I think it was right when Instagram stories started. You were in your car and you had found a tea bag that had gesso. I'm like, who is this girl? She's so charming. And I was mesmerized. I love your Southern accent. And so I immediately started following you. And then the next time you were in your car again and you had gotten out and you found like a little piece of wood and you said, this is a giblet. I go, oh my God, because I was raised in the South, even though I don't sound like it anymore. And my grandmother used to say giblets all the time. And so it was endearing to me. And ever since then, I've been and you get your giblet shirt on. So
I do have my giblet shirt on today.
I love that. So that's when I first kind of stumbled upon you and your work. And I was just mesmerized by the freedom and how you were so committed to your practice and everything. And I think you started like back in 2013. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how did it happen?
Oh, it's a story. I will try to keep it brief for everyone. So first of all, I come from a creative background, meaning that my mother, she did like every type of art you can imagine, between porcelain dolls and she just always was creative. She would tat lace and knit and crochet, and like she was always doing something. So I was raised in that surrounding. And my brother is super musically inclined, and he is gifted and plays music by ear. And so anything that he would hear, he would just immediately, he just somehow flip the switch, right? And he could play it. And so then there was me, the baby girl, that I would ask my mom over and over again. I would say, Mom, what's my talent? What's my talent? And she would say, well, you have to keep practicing. You have to keep practicing. But as a child, I just saw them being really good. Like really good at something. So I would try, but I always felt like it didn't meet their standard, like where they were. What I didn't see as a child is the practice that went into that to end up where they were, Right. So I just immediately thought like, oh, I'm not good. So I would try drawing, and I was like, I'm terrible at this. It's awful. And then I love Lisa Frank stickers. What's up, Lisa Frank in the sticker world back in the day?
Yeah.
Right? And so I would collect all those stickers and, have a little sticker book and all the things in school. And then sometime around, I don't know, like I think there's always a disconnect in everyone's life when you go from like really enjoying coloring. I was the kid who colored her Christmas tree pink instead of the typical green. And the teacher would be like, your Christmas tree is supposed to be green. And I would be like, well, mine's pink. And like, I was just always like challenging the rules, right? And then something happened in life when I just pushed it all to the side. And I thought, this is not me. I don't have any talent. I'm horrible. It's like all of this self-doubt about me not having talent, and me thinking what I knew was like really good art or what made you good. And I never saw that quality in myself. And then fast forward to many years in my career, stress was horrible. Like, it was just like through the rooftop. And my boss at the time said, Tiffany, you got to find an outlet. Like, you have really got to find something that you can unwind and you can just like let go. And y'all, his was running. That is not happening. Like, that ain't good. I'm not gonna be you. Trust that. So I was like, that's not gonna happen. So what do I do? And then, long story short, I ended up finding a book that introduced me to the word art journaling. I'd never heard of it before. I was like, I don't know what this is. I'm clueless. And it was actually an artist who took and did her art journaling pages. And then she took that as inspiration to create polymer clay jewelry.
Oh.
And so I thought it was just so amazing. So I bought the book, of course, and then I went on like this Google search of what in the world are these words? Art journaling, have no idea. And up there in the very top is my very first art journal, which was just a kid's book. And I literally had some scrapbook paper because I lived through that whole era of creative memories and trying to be a scrapbooker and realizing there was too many rules to that. And the lady kept telling me, no, you're supposed to. I was like, oh, I can't do all this. And so, yeah, that's when it kind of clicked that my brain can often, and probably some people can relate to this, I may not be able to find the words to describe or like really, can put it all together, but I can find the colors and I can find the textures and I can find the imagery to share my story. And so when like I realized that art journaling and mixed media meant no rules, woo! I was like, yes, this is where it's been the whole time. I just had to unlock it. And so that was kind of where it came to be.
Well, that's so great. That's so great that you discovered that and you allowed yourself to be free. And and I think that's people now. I mean, I think we all get caught up in trying to be perfect and trying to create these perfect, beautiful pieces of artwork. And if you can just create something that resonates with your feelings, and then because your journal pages are so beautiful and there's so much depth to them. And I don't know if everyone knows this, but you've been published many, many times in like Somerset Studios and art journaling. And so if you I think you might have the publications that people can go back and look at, but because you really tap into the trueness of who you are and how you express yourself. And I think that is what we all want as artists. We want to be able to not just copy someone's work, but to really dig into that deep pool of creativity and bring it to our work. And then that journal page can turn into something else too, which you're doing some more abstract works now and kind of moving into some different directions with your work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that tapping into the emotions is really what I love about your work and how I see your work and the beautiful layers that you bring into it. So I want to ask you a question. When did you decide to start teaching people how to do this? And why did you do it?
It was all by mistake. It all just happened. I still don't know what I'm doing. So if you came here to see somebody professional, I am not the one. But so it really was a whole big fluke that YouTube ended up being that platform. And it's so funny you bring this up, Renee, because literally 2 nights ago, Yeah, I believe it was about 2 nights ago. Josh and I were looking, and I saw this person had commented on my very first YouTube video.
Oh my gosh.
My very first YouTube video. And so we watched a little snippet of it and laughed hilariously because I was so worried about trying to be professional and like say the right thing, and was not myself at all. And so we look back on that, but it's funny because what happened was I actually was in one of these swap groups. And so, like, I don't know if anybody's been, like, in the swap groups before or whatever. And so the swap person who received mine asked me how to do something. And so I thought, man, that sure is very difficult to explain a process like that, you know? And so I said, well, I can't type it out, but I could probably do a video to show you. And she was like, oh, that'll be amazing. Well, then the video, when I tried to email it, was too large, of course. Like, it was a 30-minute video. And so she's like, well, just upload it to YouTube. And I was like, what? For real? I was like, okay, I guess I can do that. I was like, nobody will ever like follow me or anything. So I mean, I'll just put it up there. And then that video led to a few people in that group, you know, oh, well, cool. Well, next time will you do a video for that too? And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's cool. And then it just kind of snowballed.
I know, you have like 400 YouTube videos now, don't you? You that's amazing. Like, I like, okay, I got one up this week. I'm like doing a little dance if I get one up. It's like, it's amazing how you just get this content and it's flowing out of you. It's just so great. It's so great. So,
and I think really quick, I wanted to add to that. I think the like the biggest thing too, when people started to say, so if you don't know, every Monday, with the exception of very few, I put up a video. And so what happened is somehow along the lines, people just started following along, and then I had like 100, and then 100 became 1,000, and I thought, oh, well, this is pretty cool. I probably won't grow anymore. And then it just kept going and going. But really what makes me show up every week, Renee, to be quite honest with you, is the people. Like, I have so many people who say they look for, especially going through this pandemic and the emotions and not being able to do the things that we love and be with the people that we love. Like, so many people have told me that my Monday video, like, just is their ray of sunshine. Like, is their connection to the world. Like, the crazy things, if you've ever watched a video of mine, you would know it. I say some, like, crazy stuff sometimes, and people laugh, and that's another thing. I never really knew I was funny until YouTube. When people started saying it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So it's really the people who make me keep showing up, just because, like, it's a community, just like similar to this community, you know, like people, there's certain people that every single Monday by Tuesday afternoon, they're commenting about, oh my gosh, you said this, or I have people documenting all my Tiffisms, and like it just snowballed into like something I never imagined. But it's really for all of you and for all of them that I show up every week.
Well, I appreciate that about you, and that you're always there. And you know, I see you're in my feed all the time, the new thing you're working on, and the community is really important. And because of this pandemic, I actually started my creative community, and I was really nervous about doing it and putting myself out there. It was always like, oh, let me put my little picture in of what I created, but never allowing myself to, you know, be there. And once I started doing it, I feel it just fills me up. I just love the connection. And then I know now what people want to learn and what I can help them with. And that's, for me, that's everything. I really want people to feel empowered in their own creative voice. And it's something that is really important for all of us. And I don't think you have to, you know, however your approach is, and it doesn't matter. you're creating, because we're all meant to create. And the more beauty and creativity we put into the world is better, because we feel better and the people who we're creating with feel better. And one of the questions, this will segue into this, is you have a full-time job and you have some lovely little pets to take care of, and your husband, your house, but you are there every single day with something. And you're doing this challenge right now. And people ask me all the time, like, how do we balance it? How do you find time to create? And I think it needs to be the priority. Just like, moving your body, you have to create, you have to eat healthy, you have to be with your people. And so do you have any advice on helping people, because you have an intense job, but you're still coming into your studio every day?
Yeah. So my thing with that is self-care is so important. So you matter. And if it were, you're just like taking my dogs out for a walk. They need that. They require that. And so they get that. Just like feeding them or watering them or whatever. Like, you are someone who needs to be nurtured, and if you don't do that for yourself. And what I also want to say is, people have, I know I did too at one point. I thought, oh, well, you have to have 30 minutes or an hour. No, you don't.
Right.
Like, I have fine-tuned it. Now, I am very blessed and thankful that I do have a whole room, which I really tried to clean up for Renee, because hers has been in a magazine. Like mine, I have giblets all over the floor. You can't see that though, so you can see it looks like it's clean. That's all that matters.
It does look all clean over there.
But if it is your tabletop, your dining room, your kitchen, your little table in your bedroom, like whatever it is, to be able to have that space where you can just create 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I think the other thing that helps me fit it all in is that I don't put pressure on myself to finish something. Like, it's just that creative muscle within us to utilize it every day. And it's amazing the inspiration that will find you, when you're in that 15, 10-minute, whatever you've got. Like, you have enough time, and you have to make it like a ritual, almost, like every day, whatever that looks like. I mean, in 2019, I traveled. My job had me traveling a lot. In November, I was in a hotel room 21 nights, and actually even took a week off. So is that Millie over there?
Yes, hang on. Here's Millie. All right, where is she? Okay, there she is.
Hi,
she snuck in. Hi.
Baby.
So I have to put her back out. Sorry. Come on, baby.
Oh, no problem.
All right, go on out. Let's see Olivia.
So, yeah, I would just say you have to make it an important part of your day, and you have to look at it with like no pressure to create a masterpiece, because in my opinion, none of my work is a masterpiece at all. You just have to start. You just have to get in there. You have to do it, and it doesn't have to take a long time, but you are just as important as the people that you love and the people that you nurture every day. You have to nurture that in yourself.
Right. I agree, because I think it helps us get through our day. And when we feel good because we've created and we've given ourselves time, and I agree with you, 15 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever you have, just do something. Just put some giblets on the page, right?
That's right. Get that glue stick and glue those giblets down.
That's right. Just have something. If you're in the car, if you're waiting in line, do a little something. So it's so important to our own sense of well-being. And I think it also, like you're talking about the creative muscle, you get into a habit and then you start thinking and you can dig deeper and you get ideas. And throughout your day, these ideas are starting to form and you're honoring your creative voice wherever it may go. So I think it's really important for us to just give ourselves permission. And that's what I want people to do, is give yourself permission, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And there's so many, I don't know if you were on the live where we kind of talked about classes, because there's so many classes, and we're all, you know, because of the pandemic, we've all been online a lot taking classes, and I kind of divide them up into different types of classes because that can be overwhelming. But I think classes can be part of, there's like a little bug floating around my head, are part of self-care. You just have to, you know, go in. Like, I was watching all your videos as I was getting your classroom ready, and I found myself smiling the whole time I'm watching your videos and thinking, like, this is so cool, and your techniques are innovative, they're beautiful, and they're very you, and you have this very generous way of sharing and comforting people, like, yes, you can do this, take this. And so maybe you can tell us a little bit about the class, in your own words, besides what people have seen on the website and the promotional video, just your philosophy about your giblets, and how you kind of came up with this idea of using all the recycled bits and pieces, which I think is brilliant, because I have bowls of giblets and now I know they're giblets.
Yeah, so one of the things, my husband, he laughs at me all the time. He was like, Tiffany, you can see the same thing that I see, but you see it so much differently. And one of the things with using that muscle of creativity, right, is I think of how can I reimagine? How can I transform it, right? How can I make it something that is special, that other people would probably look at it and throw it in the trash? So, you know, I also believe in the philosophy of, you don't have to have a lot. Like, you don't have to have special supplies for my class. Literally, you don't. You have something that will work for this class. Trust me, right at your house. It's not like you have to go through this additional expense. And if you been a creative individual before, and this is not new to you, you probably have these, like this, when I was cleaning off my desk just for you, Renee, I found this little bitty giblet right here that for whatever reason, I can't let it go. Like, it has this coral and this yellow beautiful. And this really pale pink. And I was like, this little bitty giblet is meant for something cool and interesting. And if you've created for any length of time, you have bowls and you have carts full of this scrap paper, and you have all of these things that for whatever reason I just can't throw it away. Like, it's just so special, and well, it begins to take over your desk and your everything, you know. So I was like, oh my gosh, I sold like I call them these giblet bags, and I was just like, please people, like, get these giblet bags, because everybody thinks my giblets are better than theirs. They're not, but they think that in their head. So everybody's always messaging me about the papers and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I have carts of this. So I don't know how many bags I sent out, but anyway, I still had so much more. And because, you know, I'll tear off a little piece and just use a piece of it to collage. Well, you got this extra bit over here. What do you do with it? So that's when the concept, and when I started thinking of how can you transform this, all of these small pieces that really don't go together, or that you would imagine would kind of go into a page, but how can we take that and utilize it and make it something even better, and create texture, and how can you bring it together? How can you break through and really make it be part of a brand new journal that you do? And then, you know, a lot of times bookbinding can be intimidating. So for this class, I approached it with just using an altered book. You can get those at the thrift store. You can get that. You probably have one at home that's a hardback book. Maybe you haven't used before, or you've read it and you're like done with it. Like, I just wanted it to be something where people could use what they have and really just be amazed that you can have all of these random pieces and they all do come together in the end. Like,
it does. It's really brilliant how it came together, and how like even the rags that you use to blot your brushes and everything on became a page, and all of a sudden you have this very powerful page that you've torn through, and there's this imagery behind it, and the stitching is very, I mean, I think it's a place where you can, a class where you can take what you have and force yourself to really think outside of, oh, I have to go to the craft store and to buy all these supplies. Because I often feel bad about that. Like, okay, this is what I'm using. I just have so much stuff from years and years.
Right.
But if you're new to this, new to art journaling, and, you know, I think it gives you this permission to just put everything in there and start the process and create your own process. And by this class that you've created, it's just the tip of the iceberg, I think. You know, taking these recycled old books that, you know, you find in a thrift store, or you want to turn it into something. And the great thing about the book is, because the pages are thin, you can do that cool technique, the breakthrough, which is so cool. I was like, oh, I love that. It's so great. So I won't give too much away, but I think it's the type of class where if you're starting in your journey and all you have is a glue stick and some little pieces, bits and pieces of paper, that's all you need, and some instant coffee, because that's pretty cool too. And and I think, so if someone is just starting and like maybe they are feeling, well, I don't have a giblet. So what do you do if you don't have any giblets from stuff you've made? What do you suggest you do?
Yeah, I would say, like, for instance, I walked out and got the mail right before we went live, and I had some security envelopes. And so a lot of times the security envelopes will have the inside, you know, just like anything that you can come across, whether it's magazine images, you could rip those up and use those for the color. And my philosophy is don't allow yourself to come up with excuses as to why you can't, because I guarantee you can. Like masking tape, it's cheap. You probably have it in your junk drawer. Like there's just like everything from, if you used to do scrapbooking, if you have a newspaper that maybe you get on Sundays, you could use that. You could use the magazine images for the color if you don't have any paints or anything. Like the sky's the limit. I've even torn up I do some journaling in the morning, not really journaling, but more like brain dumping from morning pages. And I've torn up pieces of those and used that, you know, just the lettering and the font to create some cool texture. But don't allow yourself the excuses you don't have the supplies, because you have something at your house that would work. A magazine image that somebody sent you that you have no idea why you got that. That happens to me all the time. I'm like, we don't even shop with these people. Why are they keep sending us stuff? And then I'm a huge recycler, so I feel like I can't throw it away. So I gotta make something with it.
Right, and you do. You just did something with coffee bags, right? It's on Instagram. You did some kind of cool thing with coffee bags. Do you have it there?
It's just,
that's okay. Don't worry. No pressure.
Here's my little coffee bag.
Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous.
And I put giblets in it, y'all. But somebody else told me that, you know what, you could mail somebody a baked good, or if you want it, because it's airtight, because it's a coffee bag. Oh. But you could put, you know, some like treats and goodies in it. It's one of the ones, I have this on my YouTube channel. But you could just slide this into a cellophane and then put the address on it. And you could send somebody a cute little treat. You could put somebody's Christmas present in it. But all it is, oh, it smells really good. It's just a coffee bag, and I just tarted up the outside here and used it. But yeah, I'm the recycling queen.
That is brilliant. I love that. When I saw it this morning, I love that. And so you mentioned that you do morning pages, because I do it. I know Andrea Garvey's on here too, and she does it. And how long have you been doing your morning pages?
Oh, several years now. Some days are better than others, I'll tell you. Yeah. But probably 3 years or so.
Yeah. It's really, if you are not familiar with morning pages, there's the book called The Artist Way, and there's a lot of activities in there. I have a girlfriend who's doing it now, and she's just made it through, like, I think it's 12 weeks or so, and I can't believe, and she's a writer, and she's just been very dedicated to it. But I've been doing it for years. I did The Artist Way, like, I don't know, 3 times maybe, and I had stops and starts, but I have been for the past 2 or 3 years really diligently writing. And I do find, even though some of the stuff is so boring, I'm like, oh my God, my life's so boring. It's like, I have nothing to say. You know, it took me only for a walk yesterday. I saw the whatever. But then all of a sudden something pops up when you leave. Yes, and it's like, oh, that's it, and you feel so excited about it. So I think that there is something about that brain dump in the morning, getting it out, and then creating and trying to put something together. And I like your idea of taking them and putting them into your artwork, because that brings in this level of meaning that helps that creative muscle grow. So do you have any of your little sketchbooks, any art journals that you can show us before we wrap this up and maybe get some questions?
I will. I may have to grab my charger because I wasn't anticipating using my phone here in a minute. I will send Josh to collect that if I need to. But so yes, I have lots of journals. Another thing, I don't really know if it's like unique with me or not, but I find like a lot of people comment on it, is I use a lot of journals at once. So like I have like 4 or 5 journals, and by at once I mean like literally open, using multiple journals throughout throughout my journaling session or what have you. And like, who can afford to waste that 99-cent craft paint, y'all?
Right.
You got to clean that thing off and use it on the new spread. So this one is, I don't know, I should do a better job at documenting when I actually completed it. But this one has been in art journaling or Somerset, I'm not sure. But
beautiful.
I mean,
it's beautiful.
I was gonna say, I hear myself in the background. I don't know how I'm hearing myself, but I know that's me. And this was actually a travel. I just did a little watercolor there, and I like to add textures and just really anything. Adding a little piece of string that I got out of something recycled, y'all, I'm sure. A magazine. Here's a little bit of I found these The Artist I Am Today, and it was in a magazine, and it wasn't an art magazine, it was just like a regular magazine that came through. But I like to add fabrics, and this is a blouse that I had ripped. It got a hole in it or something, and can't throw that away, y'all. No. You gotta tear that little giblet up and put that in your book. So, this is a doily. Let's see. This was like a little doily that I found at the thrift store, and so I just put a little bit right there on the edge with some staples.
I love that. I really it's beautiful. There's so much history and layers in your work, and I think that. And do you go back in and like work on them again, or when you're done, you're done?
I know this sounds crazy. Okay, so when I'm done, I'm done. Like, I'm not even really attached to them. Oh. Like, everybody gets, like, freaked out. Like, oh, my God, what are you doing? What, like, if something happens, I'm like, I'm not attached. Like, I'm attached to the process and the energy and the flow of getting it out. But once it's out, like, I mean, it's not that really.
That's because you make so much. I think we were talking about this in my collected stories, because we're doing the portrait class, and people, we get attached to that drawing because we've worked so hard, and it's hard. You get tighter, and then you feel like you can't create again. But the fact that and I'm encouraging people to practice over and over, and the more you practice, the looser you get, the more your style evolves, and you become less attached. Then you can rip that up. You can scribble on it. You can experiment. And that's because of the process, the practice over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden you're free. You're free of your own judgment, I think. I mean, it does creep up every now and then, but I think the more you do, the more.
Oh yeah. Just like the other day, I told you, don't rip up one of your paintings, Renee, but I want to see you rip up a copy, okay? Because my stuff does not take nearly the time that yours does. But make a copy of it, and then I want to see you rip it up and like put it back together. Like, how
all right,
does
I'm
it
going to
make?
do that.
Yeah, that was one of
the cardboard.
That was one of the pieces. Oh, here's two of the pieces that I recently did, but like
So
taking
cool.
it. So if you like really feel, and y'all, me showing Renee this, y'all, she's got skill. I just be playing. I don't know what I'm doing. But if you really feel like you're starting to feel that tension in your shoulders and your neck, and you're really starting to really strain and stress, like a really cool way that I figured out with this one is to draw each element individually. So like I had all of these random little giblets of cardboard because I'm doing 100 days of cardboard. Woo, why did I think I was going to do 100 days of anything? But I drew them individually and then put them together. So that they're really wonky, but they're super cool. And then this one is
oh my gosh,
a transparent.
that is
it's transparent.
So cool.
And but how do you like it says she spread words of hope, but even though you're broken, like my thoughts was, even though every person in this world has gone through something, who has been broken and mended back together, you can still be broken and spread hope, spread love, spread, like that's what all of this came to be. It didn't start that way. A lot of times my work starts and then I find the meaning. I don't find the meaning and then make the art. It kind of finds me all in that one loop. But yeah, I want to see you break it apart.
Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to challenge myself to do it. And you know, all of this cardboard that you're doing, when I look at it individually, they're all so powerful and beautiful, all the pieces. And I would love to see you put it, I don't know if you have a space, or then you put them all 100 of them and lay them out. I think it could be an amazing installation, because I'd love to see the story, because they're all evolving in different ways. They're really very amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Tiffany, thank you for doing this today. And what I'm going to see if anyone has any quick questions, but you can go into the comments here and on the page, and then you can answer them too, if I can't answer them. But your class is, it's about 2.5 hours, and right now the early registration is going on, and next week, Tiffany and I are giving away, 2 free seats in the class on Instagram. So go follow Tiffany at Southern Gals _designs. I think it's in the thing. And then me. And then your name will go, we'll post it in the Instagram about the giveaway. And because she's the first guest artist, I want to celebrate this. I'm so excited. Yay! As I make my way through figuring it all out. And which is all very, okay, let's transfer all the files. It's all a little nerve-wracking, but I'm figuring it out. So it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good though. We've been doing great together. So women helping women figure this stuff out.
That's right.
So April 5th, the classroom opens, and we'll have a private Facebook group, or Tiffany will interact in the group. And if you have any questions for her, you can always ask her too on Instagram. You can ask them here. You can ask me. I'll ask her. Whatever you need, we will be there to support you. So with that said, does anyone have anything? I'll look and see if there's any questions. And I want to thank all of you for being here today. Okay, wait, I just saw a question. Hang on, let me see. Where did it go? They come up so fast.
Give me one second, Renee. I'm going to grab my charger while you locate the questions.
Okay. All right. So what kind of book should I buy for the class? Can you show me an example? All right. So I'm going to show you one of my altered books real quick. that I just dropped on the floor. Okay, so if you go to like a used bookstore or a thrift store, there's always stacks and stacks of books. They're like $2 to $3, books that have lived a life, a good life. And so now you're going to turn them into art. So like I got this one at a little thrift shop and it was $5. And Tiffany talks about how to take pages out. I mean, she does a lot with old books. And I have just put my little giblets in here and I just work on the pages. And I like that the pages are kind of, they're in nice pages. They're not slick paper, but they're not too thin, but they're still nice to work on. And Tiffany, in the beginning of the class, she shows you examples of different books that you can get for art journaling. What else was there? Okay. I think that's the only one I saw. So hopefully that helps. Someone was asking about books, Tiffany. Okay, so what she'll do is she'll go in the comments. I think the internet's pausing here. I don't know if it's me, but I want to thank you. Library sales. Are you okay? It's okay. Library sales are great. Thanks, Tanya. That's another good one. And yes, thanks, Lisa. Women collaborating, so great. I'm like giddy excited about this. So I'm such a weirdo, such a nerd. So I've been thinking about it for so long. So I want to thank you all for being here and joining us today and being patient with us as we figured out how to get Tiffany on the screen. So we figured out, so we're empowered now. We know how to do it. We'll be pros after this. And if you have any questions about the class, please let me know, let Tiffany know, and we're excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks, Tiffany. I'm going to save this to the group, and I'll see you all soon. Okay. Bye.
All right. Thanks for having me, Renee. Toodaloo.